Alright, what's happening, y'all? It's your boy Rico from StreetScores, and we are here to break down a prospect that is almost, in my opinion, a perfect fit for the Commanders. A dream pick at number 29. We're going to break down who he is, strengths. I have comps for him. I have several comps, too. I have, like, realistic comp. I have a ceiling if everything works out best comp. I have advanced stats. Of course, I watched a lot of film on this guy. I love him, and I really want to break down why he is the dream pick for the Washington Commanders. Really excited to break down everything, of course, and I also have a trivia question for you. I'll give you the answer at the end of the video. What player defensed 13 passes to lead the Commanders in that category in 2022? I don't know what's going on with all these 2022 questions, but either way, I'm going to give y'all the answer at the end of this video. But before we get into everything, make sure you stiff arm that like button, stiff arm the subscription button, and stiff arm the bell next to that subscription button so you get a notification each and every time I release an informative and opinion video just like this one. Make sure you stay tuned for all of the content. Really appreciate y'all for supporting and pulling up to every video. I know I've been busy for like the last 48 hours, but I promise I'm about to get back to the video stuff, all of the content and everything like that. So really appreciate y'all. Without further, let's go dive into the video. Let's get it. Adam. All right, now before we get into anything, man, big shouts out to my boy Michael-QM8JU on YouTube because he super chatted a whole 500 just a few days ago, man. So big applause to my boy Michael over there, man. Big salute. Really appreciate that. Typically, when it comes to super chats and comments for like live streams, especially like in videos, I'll reply to the comment, say thank you and everything. But for something that monumental, I had to make sure I shouted you out in the video as well. Really appreciate that. Now let's dive into the prospect. Well, first of all, shouts out to Pedro Schmidt because first of all, subscribe to him on YouTube, follow him on Twitter, all of that great content, man. You'll see me on his live streams from time to time as well. But he posed the question back on March 22nd. What are the top remaining needs for the Commanders, in your opinion, basically? His ranking was number 1 edge, number 2 running back, number 3 cornerback, more so for future in parentheses, and I definitely understand that, agree. Number 4 safety, and then number 5 a wide receiver 3. I'm not gonna lie, that's literally probably my exact order of our remaining needs right now. With edge rusher, I would probably put a huge gap, especially I would emphasize pass rushers specifically because we got a lot of edge rushers. We have a lot of quality run stop and edge setting edge rushers, but we need a pass rusher. So pass rusher, number 1, gap, home run hitting running back 2, gap, cornerback, safety, gap, wide receiver 3. That's just me personally. Because again, with wide receiver, if we didn't have Jaden Daniels, I feel like wide receiver will probably be one of our top 3 needs. But I've seen what Jaden Daniels can do with Olamide Zaccheaus and Jamison Crowder and a hurt Noah Brown. I can only imagine what he could do with this squad that he's about to have next year. So I feel like the only reason I have wide receiver 3 that far down is because Jaden Daniels is the quarterback. But even moving on from that, shouts out to Mark Tyler, because now talking about edge rusher, he tweeted on the same day, March 22nd, it keeps getting brought up that Quinn wants that Leo edge defender for his under front, and we're talking about LEO. That's what they call it, right? I've mentioned the under front many times, and now that I think that's what the defense will be going for, so his list of edge rushers that we should be targeting, more so Leo guys you would probably consider situational pass rushers, designated pass rushers. James Pierce, Mike Green, Donovan Azaraku, Campbell, Yuman, I still don't know how to pronounce his name all the way, just Princely U. I still don't know. I got to work on that. I have a month to get that name down. And then Josiah Stewart. That's his short list of guys that we should probably be targeting at edge rusher for our specific need of a Leo edge rusher specifically. So now if you take a look on the screen right now, and shouts out to Air Raid Concepts for providing this picture, but this is exactly what we're talking about. When we're talking about a 3-4 under and you're looking for a Leo linebacker, that's that guy all the way on the right. You have your Sam linebacker all the way on the left, which is what really makes it a 3-4 under, and then your other 2 linebackers, you can see 54 and 56 right there, kind of leaning towards the right side, while you have your Sam linebacker, who would normally, in my opinion, be Frankie Louva. So again, while you're looking on the screen right now, the way that I would break down this front, because this is like the Dan Quinn Seattle Seahawks defense when he was winning Super Bowls. Now, of course, this is a creative exercise as well. I really want to emphasize that. And this is more of like a projection for very specific situations. So there could be all sorts of combinations of players. But again, if you're looking on the screen in a smaller defensive line lineup, when we're talking about like more so an obvious passing down, like 3rd and long, I would have Frankie Louvu on that left side as your Sam linebacker. I would have Javon Kinlaw as either of your 3 techs, but I'd probably prefer him right there next to Frankie Louvu. Then your 0 tech could probably be Deron Payne just off of how big he is. I don't love him 2 gapping necessarily, but I think he can handle it, especially in a pass rush situation, because the 0 tech I have for us in the bigger D-line scenario, he doesn't really offer you much pass rush. So again, this is like a obvious, we're trying to get to the quarterback situation. Then your next 3 tech is Johnny Newton. He's one of your better pass rushing defensive tackles there. And then your Leo is Donovan Azaraku. That's the guy who we're talking about today. And that's why I feel like he fits this so well, because even if you switch it up, say a bigger D-line version of this 3-4 under, where now your Sam linebacker is Donovan Ezaraku, because again, the D-line is bigger. This is where we're trying to really stop the run, say 3rd and short. Then your 3 tech will still be Javon Kinlaw, in my opinion. But now your 0 tech is Eddie Goldman, because he's our only true 0 tech on this entire team, our only true nose tackle, even though him and Deron Payne are about the same size. But Deron Payne just doesn't typically handle double teams, especially as well as like a guy like Andy Golden. So that's why I prefer Eddie Goldman as your 0 tech in this situation. But then when it comes to your 3 tech, I would move Deron Payne over there to be your defensive tackle, and then Dietrich Wise would be my Leo in this formation. And again, Donovan Ezaraku, cat's out the bag. That's who we're talking about today, man. He is the perfect fit, especially for that 3-4 under formation right there. Like I keep, because he can play the Leo in certain situations. He can play the Sam linebacker in certain situations. It's either way, because if you want Frankie Louvu to kind of step back and be an off-ball linebacker like a Will or a Mike, well, technically Bobby Wagner's your Mike, so Frankie Louvu will become the Will on that play, then I believe that Donovan Azaraku could perfectly handle being the Sam linebacker there as well. But I feel like more times than not, he would be the guy on the right side, your Leo edge rusher. Basically almost coming from a wide 9, depending on how the things are set up. Now, again, I keep saying, I've said it in several videos now, I don't want a Dante Fowler replacement. I want a Dante Fowler upgrade. And Donovan is the ideal Leo / designated pass rusher who will be an upgrade over Dante Fowler, who got a 10.5 sacks last season. Now, don't forget that, but I think Donovan Azaraku has an even higher ceiling and a better chance to be even more productive than that. And also, most importantly, we're going to get to this soon, better against the run than Dante Fowler ever was. I mean, this guy won the Ted Hendricks Award for the nation's top defensive end. He won ACC Defensive Player of the Year, and he was second out of the entire FBS, all college football, with 16.5 sacks in 12 games, y'all. This is extreme production against pretty good competition as well. And people are like really starting to get hip now. I felt like it was only a matter of time before like the cat was out the bag, and now it's time for me to really talk about this guy, because you even have Brett Coleman. He just tweeted technically yesterday, but to me it's 3 a.m. going into March 29th, but March 28th, he tweeted, just made a cut up of only last season's sacks and QB hits for Donovan Azaraku. It's 20 minutes long. And of course, that has everybody that, if you didn't already know who Donovan Azaraku was, that had people looking him up like, yo, who is that? Like, whoa, 20 minutes worth of sacks and QB hits just from this past season alone. And believe me, he's that serious. I mean, take a look at these advanced stats right here with this chart. Shouts out to Ben Baby on Twitter for tweeting this. He even added a look at this year's edge rusher class measuring their production with at least a minimum of 10% pressure rate against their next gen athleticism score. So we're looking at athleticism from next gen stats, not relative athletic score based on the testing. You know, next gen does it based off of film. That's why I lean towards theirs a little bit more, because it's all cool that you can prepare for all of the combine tests and stuff. You can run this 40 time really well. You've had months to prepare for it. But when the pads and the helmets are actually on, who's actually the best athlete on the field when it matters most on Sundays? Well, in their case, on Saturdays. And as you can see, Donovan Azaraku is 5th out of all edge rushers, even more athletic than Abdul Carter. And then when you're taking a look at pressure rate as an edge defender, who got to the quarterback most often, he's 6th, I believe. What is that? That's 6th, right behind Abdul Carter, James Pierce, Mike Green, and Jack Sawyer. I'm actually surprised by Jack Sawyer being up there as far as he is when it comes to pressure rate. But either way, as you can see, with the fact that he's up at like the top right, it just shows that this guy has some serious floor with how far right he is in potential with how high up he is on the chart. He's like, him and Abdul Carter are basically in their own zone of floor and ceiling combined. And even just from watching a bunch of tape on him myself, again, I've spent hours watching this tape because I only went in expecting to watch like some of it because I already heard a lot about him like weeks ago and things like that. And I'm talking about, I've been watching tape on him for a couple of weeks now, but I just thought that it would only be like, you know, let me go confirm what I heard and things. People have been talking about him like crazy. And then I just got stuck. I mean, he was so fun to watch that I already had everything I needed to know. Already had his strengths, already had his weaknesses, already had my confidence projection. And I was just stuck watching his highlights and all 22 tape that I could get from the caddies cut-ups because I was just having so much fun. Like, why? I can't stop watching this guy. He's one of those guys, you're watching another player on the team and you're like, yo, who is that constantly in the backfield over there? And that's Donovan Azaraku. So even just from watching his tape myself, if I had to compare him to the rest of this edge rusher class that I've seen so far, and I've watched like the top 10, maybe 15 guys so far. It's not like I've watched literally everybody, including like 7th round picks, but I've seen at least like 10, 15, maybe 20 guys. I got to like really look at a list. But I want to say like, okay, when I'm trying to pick a guy and what makes him stand out the most, I already did this breakdown with the running backs and I did it for every single running back, all of the top ones, even some sleepers, and I gave them all comps and everything like that. But just for Donovan Azaraku today, we'll probably do an entire edge rusher breakdown video where I break down all of the top ones, give comps, strengths, weaknesses, all of that like I did with the running backs. But just for now, Donovan Azaraku, what separates him from the rest of this class? What is he literally best at compared to any other edge rusher in this entire class? What's that one trait that puts him above every other edge rusher? And I would say pure pass rushing nuance. He has the best pass rush plan and the best pass rush bag out of this entire class, point blank period. Easily the highest pass rushing floor out of any edge rusher in this class. But don't sleep on his ceiling to get even better. Again, like we just said with the next gen stats, athleticism score, he's right up there in like the top 5 of all of the edge rushers in this entire class. And again, that's based on tape. Now, if you look on the screen right now, based on testing, even in relative athletic score wise, he's still an 8.28 because his composite size is poor because he's small, and then his speed grade, he didn't even test there. I wish he would have because it probably would have increased his score a little bit, his relative athletic score or something. But at the end of the day, man, I'm leaning more towards like next gen stats where they have him like a top 5 edge rusher athlete, whereas relative athletic score has him somewhere like really good but probably only like top 10 or something like that. Again, that's based off of testing, whereas next gen stats is based purely off of the tape, the film, and his tracking. Just like next gen stats are the ones that provide the information about wide receivers and running backs, who's reached like 20 miles per hour the most, who's reached 22 miles per hour in the season. So they do that based off of what they're doing with pads and helmet on. That's why I give that a little bit more value than I do even relative athletic scores. But even beyond that, man, again, that's just ceiling. Floor-wise, this guy had 16.5 sacks last year. He ran the best shuttle out of all edge rushers with a 4.19 and the best 3-cone out of all edge rushers with a 6.94. And he's not even like the smallest edge rusher. He actually has some decent size to him. I mean, I know he graded poorly size-wise, but he's still 250. Like Von Miller in his prime is only 2 pounds heavier than Donovan Azaraku right now coming out of college. So I'm not worried about his lack of size at all. I don't even think it's a lack of size. And when I show you his run advanced stats, like how he stops the run, it's that whole small size thing is gonna fly right out the window. But again, I wish he would have, maybe have ran the 40 times just to increase his relative athletic score just a little bit. But 8.28 is still a really, really good athlete according to their metrics. But when you watch him on tape, you see those elite athletic traits that matter when he's doing what he's supposed to do. Again, when you lead the edge rusher class in best shuttle and 3-cone at the combine, it shows that you have insane agility. Absolutely insane. Like, yeah, maybe he's not the biggest guy, which is why some people see him as a purely situational pass rusher that only plays on 3rd and longs, but I feel like that's people only scouting his height and weight. If you actually look at the tape, if you look at the advanced stats, he could actually stop the run very well, in my opinion. But as far as getting past offensive tackles, pass rushing wise, both outside and to the inside, he's an elite athlete. Very explosive and agile. Forget that 8.28, because sometimes he even beats tackles as soon as the ball is snapped. That's the explosion. Even if he doesn't beat them with his crazy ball get off, he has the agility, again, the 3-cone and the shuttle, along with his huge pass rush bag to get by them anyway. So relative athletic score wise, only with the 8.28 score, but when it comes to like what he actually does on the field, he's more athletic than a lot of the guys who have higher relative athletic scores than him. That's my point. And when we're talking agility, I mean it. I mean, when it came to that one drill at the combine where they have to like step around the dummy bags that are on the ground, when it came to that drill, he was the best out of any edge rusher. Like, his hips literally stayed the exact same height the entire drill while stepping over the bags, moving laterally. It was insane, man. And then shouts out to Tyler Brooks of 3013 with the article titled "The 2025 NFL Draft Ranking the Top 10 Senior Bowl Prospects." And they pointed out the fact that Donovan Ezaraku was just a half sack behind Mike Green for college football's sack title this season, again generating 16.5 sacks, along with 59 pressures in just 12 games. And at the same time, he's also similar to Mike Green as a prospect, especially when it comes to like weaknesses and strengths. I can see that. And they even say, like Green, Ezaraku is smaller but twitched up as far as pass rushing goes, with tons of counter moves and the lateral agility to be devastating when setting up an inside move by feigning outside. His inside swim might be the best move because his explosiveness and bend around the edge forces blockers to gain depth before adjusting, and then he's able to just basically cut back inside. Ezaraku gets the slight edge over Green, though, because of the competition he faced this year, which I alluded to a little bit earlier, but also because of his outstanding effort and technique against the run. He's a sub 250 edge that, and normally those guys will naturally struggle to anchor against double teams, but when he's one-on-one with a blocker, Ezaraku comes in with outstanding hip explosion and extension to avoid getting washed out, and can use his length to disengage and make tackles near the line of scrimmage against the run as well. And then you even have Pro Football Focus, they wrote an article, the 2025 NFL Draft Superlatives, and they did the defensive linemen. You know, they do all of the different traits and stuff like that, like who has the best burst, who has the best bend, who has the best bull rush, best swim move, all of that type of stuff, best swim move. And in their article, when they have best pass rush repertoire, Donovan Ezaraku, they said as pure as pressure generator as there is in this class. His greatest asset is his deep arsenal of pass rush moves to the inside and outside of offensive tackles. He uses his larger than expected wingspan to long arm blockers, as well as set them up with feints to get to the outside. Ezaraku not only knows how deep his arsenal is, but he also knows how to sequence his moves as the game progresses. Give them this at this time, they adjust to that, I'm gonna give them this. They adjust to those two things, I'm gonna hit them with the third thing. They adjust to those three things, I'm gonna hit them with the fourth. That's why offensive tackles absolutely hate going against this guy. The pass rush bag is too deep, like I already told you. And then also, he won another superlative when they said best long arm. Donovan Ezaraku. They said, as mentioned above, Ezaraku has a keen understanding of how to use his wingspan to apply pressure and set up his next move. His hand placement is superb as a pass rusher and in the run game. If Ezaraku consistently wins with his length, the combinations of moves he can create throughout a game fill is endless. Again, the deepest bag, pass rush repertoire, and the best long arm. You can't teach arm length. You can't teach his explosion and agility. And it's insane because typically a guy that athletic, you're like, well, then they usually rely on their athleticism and quickness and things like that to win in college. But no, this guy has the deepest bag out of any edge rusher in this entire class. And I feel like there are two things that he's also great at that I want to add to that people don't talk about enough. First of all, his bend is scary. Now, you may argue he doesn't necessarily have the best bend in the class, but it's more than enough. Like, to the point where even if a tackle gets their hands on him, he can just dip under and then get right around him with that same elite agility. And then secondly, his hustle is elite, man. Like, look at this play. Look at this play where he forced a fumble because he hustled to the play that was ran away from his direct responsibility. Like, this was not his play to make, and he still made it. He's the edge rusher on the right side of the screen. You see they run the play away from him. He's still pursuing it from behind, and he forces the fumble because of it, man. Come on, dog. So now my personal comp for him as a ceiling, and I really want to emphasize ceiling because he's literally only 1 inch shorter and 2 pounds lighter then Von Miller in his prime, and again, this is Donovan Ezeraku coming out of college right now. He's only going to get bigger, stronger, and heavier after he gets to the NFL diet program, nutritional program, weight room, all of that type of stuff. And honestly, I feel like if this wasn't one of the deepest edge rusher classes of all time, I feel like Donovan would be an automatic top 15 pick, like no question. And now, of course, I'm not expecting him to be Von Miller. That's not my safe, super realistic comp. That's his ceiling. I think he has the potential to become a Von Miller. Especially though, like not right out the gate am I expecting that. But if everything clicks and Donovan somehow becomes an elite run defender like Von Miller was even at his size, best case scenario, I got Von Miller. Maybe even like some Khalil Mack to it. But to be more realistic, I'm thinking like a better Harold Landry. I think that's somewhat of like a floor for him. And I think that's very doable, man. I really do. Again, that's like a floor. I like Harold Landry a lot too. I wanted to trade for him at the trade deadline. But I like Donovan even more. And then I could also see some people, while they compare him to like a Clay Matthews, I could see that as well. But I'm thinking floor, like unless there's injuries or something like that, I'm thinking worst case scenario, day one, week one of his rookie season, he'll be a better Harold Landry, again, with the potential to become Von Miller or maybe even a Khalil Mack. And then now going back to stopping the run, because again, some people may pass up on him in the draft because of his lack of size, but that means they're not really looking at the tape for real, or even the advanced stats, because again, he may be a little small, but this chart shows you pass rush win rate. So whoever's the furthest right here is arguably one of the most efficient pass rushers out of this entire class. Well, how about from bottom to top, the y-axis? Donovan Ezeraku has the second highest run stop rate out of all edge rushers in this entire class. It's even more amazing that James Pierce is either like right there with him or slightly ahead of him. That's insane though. I'm really shocked by both of those stats. I mean, now granted, they may not necessarily be on the field enough, especially James Pierce's case. James Pierce didn't play as much Donovan Ezeraku did. So James Pierce is more so like a situational pass rusher the way he was used with Tennessee. So maybe he's more efficient because he's been exposed a little less, and they only threw him out there on like obvious passing down situations for the more times than not. Whereas Donovan Ezeraku, from what I remember, he was on the field no matter the situation for his team. And the fact that I think he honestly, advanced stats wise, again, considering the factors around James Pierce playing less often than Donovan Ezeraku, I think Donovan Ezeraku, according to these stats, has the actual real best run stop rate, which is insane because he's already has the deepest bag out of any edge rusher in this class when it comes to getting after the quarterback. And then on top of that, the advanced stats love him in the run stop game as well. But as 33rd team already explained, that length, man, he's able to use that length, and basically the same logic as to how he gets to the quarterback. He gets rid of the tackle to get around them, whatever he has to do to make the run stop as well. It's not like you just have to throw your pass rush bag out of the window just because the team is running the ball. I mean, it'd be nice if you had the strength to stack up with a guy and then get rid of him, but he has such great arm length that even if he's not the strongest guy, the tackle can't really touch him. And also shouts out to Ricky Reigns because he brings up a good point. He's a Panthers fan. He said the Panthers need juice off the edge, plain and simple in my opinion. I don't view Donovan Ezeraku as a liability in run defense by any means, but he's undeniably a bendy, long, smart, and technically refined pass rusher, deep bag, and knows how to formulate and execute a plan. I completely agree with all of that, especially the fact that he's not a liability in run defense like a lot of people just assume he is, I guess because of the weight. They must not have watched the actual real all 22 tape on this guy. And again, I just show you the advanced stats. This guy can stop the run. But now the question is, where can we get this guy in the draft? I mean, a lot of teams do need edge rusher, right? And even though I love Donovan, and again, I would happily take him top 15 in this draft if I had a top 15 pick instead of us having 29th, I think he'll make it to 29 because again, how many teams need an edge rusher to the point that how many of them need them so bad they're willing to take one in the first round? Like Abdul Carter, Mike Green, Mykel Williams, James Pierce, Shamar Stewart, maybe Nick Scordon, and there's always going to be a random guy like Josiah Stewart who, I mean, pass rush win rate king of this draft class. So, you know, there's always going to be a couple of guys that sneak in to draft higher than you normally expect. So I mean, that's probably the reason why he may slide to us. And then also, now granted, this doesn't necessarily mean that this is how NFL teams feel, GMs and head coaches that are actually drafting these players come late April. But draft big boards right now, all of the experts, again, these are not GMs and coaches, these are the experts that write articles and do podcasts, but Pro Football Focus has them ranked 16th, NFL.com has them ranked 17th, and ESPN has them 26th. After that, MDDB has them 32nd, easily available at 29. Countdown and CBS have them 40th. Draft Buzz has them 53rd. Todd McShay has them 66th. 247 Sports has them 71st, and Pro Football Network has them 74th. I'm so sure that that's all gonna change by the time we get to the draft. I don't know if they just need to update their big boards and stuff like that. Maybe they haven't watched enough tape on them, but I know we have, because now to my next point, we've met this guy several times so far this offseason. At the Senior Bowl, we had a meeting with him, and then during his team pro day, we of course went to Boston College for Donovan Ezaraku. The fact that we even showed up there, that was for Donovan Ezaraku, and we met with him there as well. Do not be surprised if they're heavily targeting this guy. But then again, even though the experts are lower on him, I think that actual NFL teams are going to be pretty high on him. We may not have a chance of getting him 29, but the reason that I'm a little hopeful for it is, again, the experts do think we have a great chance of getting him. We'll see. And then also shouts out to Stank on Twitter, because he tweeted, Donovan Ezaraku is terrible. Everyone in the top 18 of the NFL draft should pass hard on the kid. He's awful. I'm assuming he's a fan of the team that probably has the 19th overall pick. He's trolling. The reason I bring that up is because that's how I feel too. Like, please, I want everybody to please think this guy cannot stop the run. I want everybody to think that he's not athletic, because they're just going to look at his relative athletic score and be like 828, you know, that's cool, but that's not that. I'm telling you right now, on tape, he's far more athletic than relative athletic score. The way that they do their system gives him credit for. Again, I align more with the next gen stats, where he's one of the most athletic edge rushers in this entire class, arguably top 5. So that's the ceiling, and again, the floor of having the deepest bag out of the entire class is insane. Again, I would take him top 15, maybe even top 10. I'm that high on him. That's just me personally. And so now, after that, if you could come away with Donovan Ezaraku and then somehow find a way to come away with TreVeyon Henderson from Ohio State in the second round, that's an A+ draft. That's the best case scenario. Again, go check out my running back room breakdown. I did comps and strengths and all of that type of stuff for all of my top running backs, and even some sleepers. Like, of course, I did them for Aston Genty and Amarian Hampton. I gave comps, strengths with Quinton Junkins, TreVeyon Henderson, Dylan Sampson, Caleb Johnson, Ollie Gordon, Cam Scatterbo. You got my boy Trevor Etienne. I talked about a few people, even a couple of more people than that I talked about and gave comps for and all of that type of stuff. But again, if you haven't checked that video out, make sure you go check that out. But TreVeyon Henderson specifically, I feel like, and the point that I brought up in that video is that he's literally the best fit out of any running back in this entire draft class for exactly what we need. Of course, Aston Genty has the highest ceiling, but TreVeyon Henderson, again, I comp him to a healthy and no fumbling version of 3-time All-Pro Jamal Charles, who right now in this current modern NFL, the way that it's set up, he was ahead of his time. He would have been even better right now than he was back then, when teams didn't necessarily know how to utilize third down, pass catching running backs that well yet, as well as they do now. But man, I mean, he's the best fit, because I feel like, first of all, home run speed, that's the thing we're missing the most in our running back room right now. He has that. Then also, he's the best pass protected running back out of this entire running back draft class. Anybody that I've looked at so far, out of like the top 15, 20 guys, he's the best. And it may not even necessarily be close to the next guy, who you could probably argue is maybe Amarian Hampton. But I mean, he's an elite pass protecting running back. And for Jaden Daniels, man, I mean, he's our most valuable asset. Like, no matter what, priority is protecting Jaden Daniels. So that would allow TreVeyon Henderson to be on the field a lot, because he can not only pass protect for Jaden Daniels, but he's also a great receiving option. And again, as a home run threat, to have defenses have to focus on the running back and game plan against the running back for once would make things so much easier for Jaden Daniels, just off of TreVeyon Henderson's speed alone. So I just feel like he's the best fit. I love Aston Genty, of course. Amarian Hampton, great player. Quinton Junkins, like him as well. And I have a few sleepers out there too. But Travion Henderson, man, if you can somehow come away with Donovan Ezaraku and Travion Henderson, and again, I did a full breakdown. I'm even showing you his all 22 clips in that running back video. So if you haven't seen that yet, go check that out. But we can come away with that. That's an A+ draft. I'll shed a tier live on stream for y'all. We somehow do that. But yeah, man, that's the end of this video. Please get in the comment section. Let me know how you feel about everything discussed in the video. Please still farm that like button, still farm the subscription button, still farm the bell next to that subscription button so you get notification each and every time I release an informative and opinionated video just like this one. First of all, if you made it this far in the video, man, salute to you. And as promised, the answer to the trivia question is Kendall Fuller, of course. I didn't know that for sure, but like if you told me to guess, I would have said Kendall Fuller off the top of my head. I'm probably like 50-50 on these trivia questions right now so far this year. We're March 28th. I may have gotten half of these right. I would have gotten that one right even though I wasn't as sure as a few other ones. But I mean, in a process of elimination, what other corner we had in 2022 that could have possibly have led our team in passes defense? So I would have had Kendall Fuller there. By the way, that's the answer to the trivia question. Please make sure you leave a like on the way out, and most importantly, let me know in the comment section how you feel about Donovan Ezaraku, and are you willing to take him at 29, or are you even potentially willing to trade up for him? Because I ain't gonna lie, I like him so much, and I feel like he's such a perfect fit for exactly what this defense needs right now, to the point that if he starts to get within a certain range of the 20s, I trade up for the guy, man. I know we don't have a lot of draft picks, but he's just that serious. He would take our defense to a whole nother level. I think he truly makes us a serious Super Bowl contender just off of his pass rush ability alone. And again, just imagine Dante Fowler, 10.5 sacks last year, right? Imagine a better pass rusher, a better athlete, but most importantly, a way better run defender that you do not have to take off of the fields on first, second downs, or even like third and shorts and things like that. He can stay on the field no matter the situation, third and long, tush push, fourth and short. Any of those, man. He's ridiculous, bro. I'm telling you right now, he's my dream pick at 29 right now. So let me know how y'all feel about him in the comment section. If you agree or disagree, let me know why. Either way, if you disagree, let me know why. And maybe you've seen something differently on the tape. Again, I created this YouTube channel to really be like a hub and a one central location for just smart football and making everybody better football analysts. So again, sometimes I could be wrong. Let me know if I'm wrong. Another reason I also started this YouTube channel too, because just like in high school and stuff, middle school, where you have to the reason they even give you homework, the reason they force you to do projects and especially present in front of the class is how I retain information better. So I can watch Donovan Ezaraku all 22 all day that I want, all I want. But until I put it in a format for y'all to understand, I'm writing my notes and things like that, and I have to present it to y'all, that's the best way for me to retain. So that's another reason why I started this YouTube channel, just a random fact to throw out there. So again, just think basically back to school where teachers forced you to do presentations and you remember the information a little bit better because you were forced to try to tell everybody else the information and teach it to them. So either way, really appreciate y'all again. Sorry for the long tangent. Leave a like on the way out. Appreciate y'all. I'm gonna catch y'all later. I'm out.